Hello. So, this isn't a blog. This is just me talking about the cool conversations I've had with people. What's that over there? Let's go check it out. So, I like to talk to people, and I do it a lot, and I hear really interesting stories. I'm not really normal. I don't really know why. I guess I just like learning from people. So we'll do this again because I just fucked up the first recording. So, I haven't had the balls yet to record the conversations I've actually had in person, but I can definitely start by at least talking about the lessons I've learned. I consider myself a philosopher. I love history. I love analyzing things. I love ancient Greeks, Plato, Aristotle. Lately I've thought about some other things, but I mean, that's not what this is about. Spinoza, free will, whatever. But I like philosophy. That's the point. So I often think about things and do a lot of writing, and I figured to start making documentaries. Just something. The reasons why is a little personal, but I'm not in school, I'm not writing papers right now, I don't have anything else to analyze, so I figured why not post it. I'm also going to have a link to my webpage or blog or whatever you want to call it, where I write up things I learn and the lessons and the ideas I have. But for now, I'm going to talk about some of the cool conversations I've had and some things I've learned and some things that maybe others can learn from too. And I'm sorry if this camera is not going in the right direction or is filming something that doesn't look cool. I'm really sorry about that. Sorry, I just fell and got my shoes dirty and I have to re-record this. Anyways, it's like 11 minutes of me talking and probably going too much off topic. That's lost, but anyways. So I live in Southern California. I don't want to, but I'm here. And I talk to people. I just do it all the time, and lately I've just been more open about things in life the past year and a half. And well, I don't know why, but people tend to open up to me, and they tell me about things that have happened to them too, and I had a cool couple conversations. I had one yesterday that I want to talk about, and I had a couple interesting ideas that I'm gonna type up and put on my website. So, I met somebody, and he was homeless. I mean, a lot of people I talk to are, not everybody. I have interesting conversations with educated people from all walks of life, because I learn things from people of all walks of life. And that's what I do, is I like to learn. And I'm going to try not to fall this time, because that would really suck. And this guy, he was from a reservation. He was young, he was 25. And he was, I believe, in Navajo. And I let him use my phone, and that's how this conversation came about, to call somebody, which, I mean, I don't know, he was already pretty cool, was being nice to me, so I wasn't, like, really worried about losing it or anything, which I didn't, hence the fact that I actually have my phone still now, and I'm telling you about it. Kind of want to go in there, there's an end, but kind of have a backpack on and might not fit, but anyways, so, oh man, I'm gonna slip and fall. So this guy, he was out here to visit his kid and had been kicked out. The mom of his child is like I think it was like a 1-year-old or something. The child had just got new shoes, and they're from Ross, but whatever, but now they're dirty. And this kid, I mean, he's 25, I mean, he's an adult now, but whatever. This guy had come to visit his kid and had been kicked out by the family. And the mother was away, and the kid was living with, like, his baby mama's parents, or his baby mama's mom. And we talked about it a bit, and there's a lot to unpack, so I'm trying to think where to start. But he basically had a warrant out, and he told me that after I offered to buy him a bag of chips, and was like, yeah, please don't steal. If you want something, I'll buy it for you. Anyways, so we were at the trolley station, and we had this long conversation, and told me a lot about his life. I told him some about mine, which I'm not going to go into too much. when I actually get to document real conversations with people, maybe you'll hear some of it. I'm sure you will, because I guess it's just part of the story, conversations with me. And he had his dad die in prison. He was an alcoholic already. I don't know what was up with his mom, but I don't think it was very good. I don't think she was happy with him. He taught me the res handshake, which is pretty cool. And he said next time you meet somebody, you're going to show them what's up, and they're going to be like, what? This person, how do you know? But by the end of our conversation, he was my brother, and I was his sister. And I don't know why, but I try my best to try to find out what it's like and what it means to be human, because I don't know quite a lot myself what it means. And I'm just a person, I guess, and I try to make friends with everybody. And he had told me that he had tried to do the right thing. That unfortunately, he, prior to coming out here, had a warrant for his arrest. He had been in jail, he had beaten some guy up. I guess it was like a masculinity thing. He got in a fight with a guy. He had tried to steal the car or something, and he had gone to prison, gotten out, and he had missed his court date. It's really sad, because this guy was genuinely, underneath it all, a good person. And I mean, I guess that's another thing I'll have to write about. There's levels of our character and what makes us us, and the morality aspect of us. But he may have committed some crimes. He may have, fought a lot and maybe not followed the rules. But he wasn't underneath. He was empathetic. Like he was kind to me. He was understanding. He offered me a hug a few times. We bonded. I do it a lot with just random people, but he wasn't a bad guy. He actually talked about how he wanted to make something better for himself, and he cried a few times, honestly. So, I mean, we got pretty deep, but he talked about wanting to make something of himself and to go back to be a substance abuse counselor. And I'm not going to say his name. We'll just call him Tom. It's not his name. But we talked about what little Tom wanted. What little Tom saw Tom, the ideal Tom, like. And he told me when he was a kid, he dreamed of helping others. And he had talked about wanting to be a substance abuse counselor. And he was just in a predicament. He had missed his court date. He just didn't know what to do. He was on the streets. He had come to try to help take care of his kid. I mean, maybe he was lying. Maybe he came to take the kid. I don't know. Maybe he did actually come to help out. I'm not sure. But I mean, he did seem to have good intentions and be a pretty nice person underneath some of the roughness that we all have, some more than others. And well, we had a conversation, and there's a few things I want to point out from that. A few lessons that, I mean, I was almost in tears, and he got teary-eyed a few times. There's like a squirrel, and oh, look at that little camper van, cool. The first one I want to talk about, and the first idea is, and damn, I need some water, it's hot today. The first one I want to talk about is, and crap, let me think for a second. I just am re-recording this. The first one is doing the right thing. He told me he was so sick of trying. He genuinely wanted to be a better person. He genuinely, and I think from the conversations I have with people, I try to be empathetic. I mean, my parents were middle class. I mean, my family was kind of messed up anyways, but whatever. I mean, from a lot of people down on their luck that I talk to, that I've had since I've lived in Southern California, and maybe I'm just a little naive, who knows, I'm just overly friendly, I don't know, but I talk to people all the time, and a lot of people have good intentions. It's just the system isn't really built to help others. It's not built to give people second chances. It's not easy. And he told me he was sick of trying. That he tried so hard to do the right thing, and that it just didn't work out. And he was so tired. And I told him, I need to find some water. I told him this. At the end of the day, you have your humanity. There's a lot the world can take away from you. The system is cruel. People in charge are cruel. People are greedy. People are selfish. People lack empathy. I try my best to be kind to everybody because it's what I would have wanted growing up. I try to be friends with everyone because it's what I would have wanted growing up. But I told him, at the end of the day, you get to choose what kind of person you become and what kind of person that you stay. And I myself am tired of things being unfair in the world, yet even if it doesn't get me ahead, even if it's not fair, I follow the rules. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal. Even if help goes to others when maybe it's you need some of it, I don't break the rules. I try my best to be a good person and follow things. Even if it's not fair, I try to be the bigger person, the better person. Because at the end of the day, he's right, the system is cruel. The system is cruel, the system is not fair. I'll say that. But if he keeps being angry, keeps hurting others, keeps not doing the right thing because it's easy, because I guess the people in charge don't do the right thing, then they win. The cruelness of the world on the outside wins. When you let them take away your humanity, your empathy, what makes you you, what makes you human, when you let them take that away, when you let them take what makes us human away, they win. I mean, I guess Batman already said it, you either die the hero or become the villain, but I don't think it's like that. I think at the end of the day, even when things are hard, even when things are unfair, you make that choice to be a good person. Even if it doesn't always get you ahead, even if it's not always fair, even if you don't come out on top, you make that choice. And whenever I go out, whatever happens to me, I'm going to do it as a good person. I'm going to die me. And that me is kind, is empathetic, and helps others. I'm trying to think how to get up here. Because you know why? It's the right thing to do. Because it's what makes me me. I don't know if everyone has that, or if we lose that, or some people maybe aren't born trusting and kind. Maybe I am a little bit too naive, a little bit too nice, who knows? But I'm trying to think how to not fall on my face a second time. But at the end of the day, if you let people take that away from you, you let them win. You let the cruelness of the outside world, you let it win, and you let it change you. And I told him that's the reason to follow the rules. That's the reason to, maybe not follow the rules is the right terminology, but to keep being a good person, to keep striving and doing things the fair way, to keep trying to do the right thing and not hurt others in the process, to get where you need to be at in life. Now, there's another lesson that we talked about, and I don't know, it was almost like a little spoken word poetry. I don't think I can recite the exact same thing, but he told me he goes with the flow in life. And I told him my problem is I fight it. I have anxiety, I have a little OCD, not a little, I have a lot. I worry worst case scenario about things. I try to control things too much. I fight the flow of life. I fight the flow, which is ironic because as you can see, we're literally in an irrigation ditch. I fight that flow. And he talked about going with the flow. And I told him, if you do that passively, you let the randomness of life take you where you want to go, but not where you want to go, where life wants to take you. If you let the flow take you, you give up your control. You give up being a person. You give up having the choice of free will if we have any, which I don't know anymore if we do. Maybe we don't. I don't know. But you give that up because in life we are in some big flow of time, of chaos, of everything. Time is the flow. Our existence is the particles in that water, in that stream. The current itself, the rocks, the brambles, that is the chaoticness of life. But in this life, we can't go back as much as I wish I could. We can't fight the flow, but we can't be swept away in it either. Sometimes that flow, it leads off in different forks into different directions, I tell him. And I tell this young man, which I guess I'm young myself, but I tell him, sometimes that river that you are just letting you swoop you away, sometimes it takes you down a path that is not good, a path that is painful, a path that is destructive. Sometimes that stream that we go down in life, sometimes it falls down into a crack of rocks, something that you break your neck on. Sometimes this river, this flow we exist in, it splits off, and sometimes you have a choice. You can't fight the current, but you can make a choice to not be passive about it. A choice to go to one side of the river or the other, to choose which side this life takes you down upon. And sometimes it flows somewhere nice, somewhere down this river with berries, with shelter, with food, somewhere where you can crawl off this and take a small break, have a small bit of respite that we might. Sometimes it might flow one way with some branches hanging over where we can grab on and pull ourselves out for a little break, get into another river, get into another stream, another bit of this big massive interconnectedness of flowing water which we exist in, the stream of life. And we make that choice at the end of the day. We can't go back. We don't have control over some of the rapids, some of the rocks, some of the things that are in our way. It's very true. But at the end of the day, we have decisions. We do not get the choices. We do not get to choose which way, which path this river takes us. We don't get to choose which and where it takes us when it splits the pond off into different paths. And sometimes they're not nice choices. Sometimes one is worse than the other. But at the end of the day, this river that we are on, this river that splits off, it's always splitting off into smaller rivers. We get that choice of, if we look ahead just a little bit ahead, not all the way. We don't know the outcome of things, but we get that choice to maybe swim to one side a little bit more. We get that choice to decide which path to take. We don't get to choose the paths available. We don't get to choose where this river that breaks apart, we don't get to choose what it flows into. We don't get to choose our options, but we do get to choose at the end of the day what we flow towards. We do get to look ahead. We do get to not just be passive in life. And I told him, if you see yourself helping others, if you see yourself doing great things, if you see yourself going back to school, getting a degree, helping other young people on the reservation, showing them that they can get out of it, that they can have a better life, then that's up to you. And you may not know how to get there, but don't go with the flow. Don't fight either, but don't be passive about it. I'm going to try to run up this. At the end of the day, you have some small choice to look ahead, and the stream that you're in right now, life, this big river encircling whatever our universe and existence exists upon, flowing through the universe, you have a choice to go to one side or the other and be flown in one direction or the other, if that makes sense. You can choose to take the side of the river that flows down off into some cracks, that goes down a waterfall and leads you maybe to your doom, or you can choose to take the side and swim over a little bit and be swept into maybe a river, maybe a part of the river with more shade, with things you need to survive, to grow. Maybe some berries you can scoop up along the way and give yourself a snack. If this metaphor makes sense. And I don't really know what else to say, but I promise I would pray for him, for Tom, that he would do the right thing, that he wouldn't let this world make him into something he didn't want to be, that he could look and see the Tom that he wanted to be this entire time. I'm going to try to go up. That he would be what he wanted to be as a child, that person he believed he could be, the one that was better, that was happy. And he asked me what made me think and believe in him that he could do it. This young man that steals, that fights, that drinks, that breaks the law. What made me see something better in him? And I just try my hardest to see something good in everybody. It's just how I live my life. I told him what made me believe in him is that when I asked him what he wanted to be, when he told me that he dreamed of being a substance abuse counselor, that he dreamed, maybe water, of doing something with his life, of making the world a better place and helping others where he was from, for a brief moment in time, for a small moment in time, for a few seconds, his face lit up and he was happy. And he saw something that made him happy, not something materialistic, not something that just gives you short-term happiness, but he saw himself a life worth living, a life with meaning, a life with purpose, a life where he was glad to be him. And so as I left, he called me his sister. told him I have a new brother now. Taught me the native handshake, and promised I'd pray for him to find his path and to find the right direction. I don't know how to end this, but I will say that there are a lot of people in this world down on their luck that maybe don't always do the right thing. But at the end of the day, as long as they're still trying, they deserve a chance. They deserve a system that gives them a chance. They deserve not to have harsh punishments, but rehabilitation. They deserve to see themselves as that Tom, as that person that they wanted to be, that helps the world, that is purposeful and meaningful. And they deserve to believe that in this flow of life, this river, this giant river with different branches, it goes off into different parts, that they have some free will and some choice to decide which path they take, even if they can't go back, how to go forward, down something a bit better. And maybe you can't see far, far ahead, but maybe you look ahead just enough to not just go with the flow. And I guess I didn't get to actually record the talk, which I'll try next time, but I hope that I made a difference, or that I made him think a little bit about things, because I think more than I should, and I think everyone should talk a bit more to others and try to learn a bit more. Maybe I learned something from him. I guess at the end of each conversation, I guess I could talk about what I learned. I guess I learned from him, and I hope he learned a lot from me, that everybody, no matter what, no matter how far gone, at some point has in their life pictured themselves happy and whole. Not from simple things, but from a life worth living, one with meaning and value, one where they know their place. And I guess